Today on Eye on Northwest Politics, Oregon's longest tenured U.S. Congressman, Peter DeFazio, is set to retire. We talk one-on-one with the representative and ask why, after more than 3 decades, he's calling it a career. Plus, more money in your wallet? Oregon State Treasurer Tobias Reed joins the show to explain Oregon's kicker, and we'll dive into his run for governor. And trash spilling onto Portland streets.
Why at least can we not hire a garbage company to pick up their litter?
This week, in our commentary segment, Give Me a Minute, one Portland resident explains why she's fed up with Portland's garbage problem. Eye on Northwest Politics starts now. Thanks for joining us. This is Eye on Northwest Politics. I'm Ken Body. Oregon Congressman Peter DeFazio has been serving Oregon's congressional 4th District since 1987. DeFazio is chair of the House Transportation Committee and a founder of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. And he says he's retiring. Congressman DeFazio, thanks for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. Appreciate it.
Now, why are you retiring?
Hey, I don't have any major objectives in front of me. The last big thing was starting with Obama. I tried to increase surface transportation funding. Back then, I tried $350 billion increase to try and deal with roads, bridges, highways, transit, wastewater, all the things that are falling apart in this country. I didn't get the policies exactly that I wanted, but we got even more money this year in the so-called Investment Jobs Act, and $550 billion. So, you know, I've got a bunch of major achievements behind me. I had a 25-year fight to unlock the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund so our ports won't be struggling for dredging at jetties anymore. I got that done last December. Right now, in the jurisdiction of my committee, there's nothing looming that has been on my to-do list for years. So 36 years seemed like a good measure. I'll be 75 and a half at the end of the term. I think it's a good time to enjoy Oregon a little more.
Well, as chair of the House Transportation Committee, you wield a lot of influence in Congress at a time we have some big infrastructure projects we'd like to get done in this state. Are you concerned that Oregon will lose that influence when we lose you?
No, I put permanent things in place for Oregon. I changed the state formula way back in 2006 when I was the senior Democrat on the Surface Committee in a Republican year. And the state quantified for me that the change I got in the formula has brought in $1.3 billion over 15 years. And it'll bring in more than now with the increase in funding to the state. And Oregon's going to do very well in this new bill. That'll be well over $100 million a year. Taking care of the harbors with the Harbor Maintenance Trust Fund. I resuscitated the program to partner with cities and other jurisdictions on wastewater for the first time since 1984 in the bipartisan infrastructure bill. I've really kind of hit a few home runs in the last year, and those things will be there after I'm gone.
Will there be any other Oregon benefits from the infrastructure bill?
Oh, you know, I mean, the bill that passed is not as good on reducing carbon emissions from transportation, which is the largest single emitter in the United States. My bill was very definitive on that with my Fix It First program, with my mandatory greenhouse gas reduction program on the states. The 10 Republicans and 2 conservative Dems who wrote that bill took out the most rigorous things I had. We did keep EV charging in there. We did get some, because Tom Carper in the Senate fought a greenhouse gas reduction program, nowhere near as strong as what I wanted. But Oregon will benefit tremendously under the first bill. And now in Build Back Better, I'm working on resuscitating the greenhouse gas reduction program. I'm working on $4 billion for equity, which will deal with issues like up in the Albina district in Portland. And I've got another $10 billion for transit, another $10 billion for high-speed rail. But this is going to be a tussle getting that through the Senate.
Yeah, that Build Back Better bill is in the Senate now. What's your feeling about what will happen? and whether the overall bill will pass anytime soon?
Well, look, the Senate is a ridiculous place. This is being done under a rule written by a senator who's been dead for 12 years that he wrote 29 years ago. And they have a bureaucrat who interprets it and says what can be in and what can be out. I guess she has a seance. That's ridiculous. To have a place where majorities don't rule, and if you want to rule with a simple majority, you have to have a seance with a dead senator on a rule he wrote 29 years ago. So they're going through that process now. It's arcane, it's stupid, and I'm not sure what happens in the end. Joe Manchin's a tough sell, but he came around finally on our rescue package. He's a hard bargainer, and I think he'll come around. I think we'll get the bill done, but I don't know what's going to survive this stupid bureaucratic process.
All right, of course, we'll be following it. Something else going on in Washington, D.C. right now. I'm curious as to whether you were in Washington on January 6th, and what do you think about the probe into the Capitol insurrection?
I was right here in my Washington office on January 6th. Actually, I was outside taping a video when police officer told me I had to go back to my office and lock the doors and close the curtains. That, make no mistake, that was an attempted insurrection. Trump said way back in Pittsburgh in September, if the states don't come to a conclusion in the Electoral College, I'm still president, because then every state gets one vote and we win. This was planned by his people. There's ample documentation that this was all planned. He incited a riot, and they're trying to make light of that. And some of them saying, oh, it was a normal tourist day. Tourist day when a police officer gets killed and many others get injured and the Capitol gets trashed. And then others saying, oh no, that was actually Antifa. Right. You got the guy with the horns and all these people who've been on social media for 5 years with QAnon and every other right-wing nutcase group. And they're trying to say, no, it happened. It was real. It was a very big time of peril for the United States and our system. And we're still not secure from these people and Donald Trump.
Do you think we'll get to the bottom of it?
We're next week, we're going to hold his chief of staff in contempt. We already held Mr. Bannon in contempt. I hope they get to enjoy some federal vacation time behind bars.
The Republican who you beat last time around in your district, Alex Garzatos, he's running again. He's known for being one of the men who helped stop a terrorist gunman on a Paris-bound train in 2015. What do you think of his candidacy now that you're not going to be running? And are you concerned that your seat could turn Republican when you retire?
My seat was a 2-point Republican district last time. They spent a record amount of money against me. I beat them by 6 points. My district is now a 3 or 4 point Democratic district. That means it's 5 or 6 points better. And he already lost once to me by 6 points. It's going to be very uphill for him. As he said once, very famously, that he is not the most qualified person to run, but no one else did. I would leave out most. Perhaps some other more qualified Republican will jump in now that I'm not there, because they know I was a tough nut to crack. But I'm confident we can keep the seat, and I'm going to help keep that seat.
Are there any candidates that you're looking at right now?
I'm not at a point of endorsing. We're still sorting out the field. There's a number of electeds talking about it. There's one guy who just moved to Eugene a year ago who's going to run. He's kind of a joke, but we'll see what happens with the electeds.
You have had quite the storied career. We've talked about some of your accomplishments that you're proud of. Is there a book in your future?
The book would be not about me. It would be about what's happened to America. I have a book in my head about what's happened to America until Trump. I gave a speech on America's representative democracy. Can it survive? It pretty much shocked people. I would say it's even now a darker speech, and I intend to try and turn that into a book.
I know you've got about another year left in your term before you retire. Have you thought about what retirement for Peter DeFazio is going to look like?
Well, I've created a few wilderness areas, a lot of wild and scenic rivers. With Mark Hatfield many years ago, the largest expansion of wild and scenic rivers in the lower 48. I'd like to have a little more time to enjoy those while I'm still young enough to row my drift boat or to put a backpack on and head into the wilderness. And then like I say, I've got the book thoughts, and then I'll see what else comes along. It's a big world out there.
Congressman Peter DeFazio, thank you for joining me on Eye on Northwest Politics.
Thanks, I appreciate the opportunity.
Coming up, Oregon's revenue forecast looks good enough that we're getting a kicker on our state tax returns. But does that really mean the state is flying high financially? We'll talk with State Treasurer Tobias Reed about the state of Oregon's economy and when you can expect to see that kicker money. We'll also talk about his making a run for governor.